I'm Dr. Westin Dripps. I am a professor in Earth, Environmental and Sustainability Sciences. I'm also the Executive Director of the Shy Institute for Sustainable Communities. So the FURMAN Lake is kind of interesting. The lake itself actually is a human-constructed lake. It's not a natural lake. It was built back in the mid-late 50s when FURMAN moved its campus from the downtown campus out to its current location. They impounded two streams that came together and set up a dam and made it kind of a focal point in the overall design of the campus. For decades, actually, after it was there, people swam in it. It was really kind of it's always been kind of a community destination, but I know students, they had a beach they even set up at one point on there that you can still see in the remnants of, kind of a semicircle. I think even imported some sand, but you could go swim between classes and they had lifeguards. I know they had at one point, soon before I got here, even a pontoon boat that they used to take classes out on to do data collection, and I'm guessing even student boards and stuff could probably use it. But in the last couple of decades, we had seen kind of a steady decline in the overall water quality. And the biggest driver was it became not only a popular destination for community members and faculty, staff, and students to hang out, but the wildfowl like to hang out here too. And so people became kind of a great pastime to bring your kids out to feed the ducks or feed the geese. And lo and behold, they stopped migrating. We had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wildfowl that set up shop here on FURMAN Lake. And they began to eat and poop. And with all that poop came a whole lot of E. coli bacteria and others. And so the quality began to kind of decline. So since then, we've made a real concerted effort, I think, to try to address that decline. In an effort to kind of improve the overall quality. So we had a pretty aggressive campaign that now spans maybe more than a decade to get people from stop feeding the ducks and the wildfowl. And then if you go around the lake now, you'll notice that we've allowed that buffer that kind of is between the walking path and the lake to go back to kind of a little bit more of a rustic, natural, wild feel. And those two things have been really, really effective at actually getting those migratory wildfowl to do what they should do, which is migrate. We do have a small pod of some domestic ducks and obviously the swans that are year-round residents, but now we have the coots and the geese and stuff that come through, and they will stop in and then they'll keep on going, which is what we want them to do.
Some of them are gross.
That's right, I'm good with gross. Cool.
Then I will start with an egg.
An egg?
So we put a standard brown egg.
Okay.
Into lake water.
Okay.
It's been sitting there in a storage locker in a plastic container. And did our egg go from brown to white in spots and make the water brown around it?
Okay.
Or did it become like soft and squishy?
I'm thinking it dissolved more of the shell, like they hit some kind of new equilibrium, and so I'm going with the soft and squishy is my guess. I may be wrong on that, but I got the sense that maybe oh no! I'm 0 for 1, it looks like. It's looking like 0 for 1. All right, here we go. The unveiling. You ready for this? That is ripe. That is really ripe. I'm impressed it stayed together, though. I actually would have thought, like, you know, you've seen those tricks where you put in, like, vinegar and stuff like that, although, I don't know, the pH is such that it probably didn't do much to the shell, but I still thought that the shell would have, I don't know, somehow dissolved or at least gotten a little bit more gooey, and we'd have been left with just the membrane of the embryo, but I'm 0 for 1.
A kiwi.
A kiwi?
So we put a kiwi.
Okay.
Did the water fill with like white swirls, like white tendrils going around the water?
Okay.
Or did the water turn green?
I'm thinking the white tendrils. I'm thinking there's like bacteria, there's gonna be bacteria that are gonna kind of take onto this and kind of go with it. How do we do? Let's see, oh boy. Oh, we got the white tendrils. All right, I got one right. You know, it's amazing that when you submerge these in water, they kind of stop that decomposition process. And so, you know, you hear these stories of like shipwrecks, wooden shipwrecks that sink to the bottom and all of a sudden come out like perfectly preserved because they without that oxygen kind of around, you just can't allow it to degrade. So it actually, I mean, if you didn't tell me, I would never eat that kiwi, but I don't know, kind of still looks like a kiwi to me.
A teddy bear. Did that teddy bear start to shed its hair? Okay. Or did it just get all soft and squishy?
That seems almost like quality quality question about the build of the teddy bear as opposed to the necessity of the water. It's definitely going to be soft and squishy because to take it in, but I wouldn't be surprised, depending where it was built, if it's starting to shed some hairs too. So I'm going with it's going to break down and it's going to shed some hair. It's going to be a hairless teddy bear. It looks exactly the same almost. I guess I wouldn't expect it to break down, obviously, in terms of that. But let's see what happened. Did it lose any? Oh man, that again, you could wash this thing off. It's good and soft and squishy. You know, dust it off. It's good for Valentine's Day 2021.
We have a sponge, like just a regular
Sponge?
dish sponge.
Okay.
Did the sponge grow mold, or did it just remain totally functional?
It is like a good substrate for like things to grow. So if there were going to be bacteria in there and they need to grow on something, I would say, I don't know if it'd be mold though necessarily, but yeah, some kind of bacteria thing. Hey, let's go with, I'm going to go with some kind of anaerobic bacteria are in that sponge. Oh, Dripps, you're so bad at this. Hey, look at that yellow mold. It's covered. And y'all, in fact, there's a big layer of green mold here on the back. Look at that green. Yeah, okay. You win. Yeah. Well, you know, it's speaking well though in terms of lake quality right now, right? So I know there's always concern and worry about it, and I get questions all the time like, oh, is the lake toxic? Lake's not toxic. In fact, our lake water quality is actually quite good. It does have some bacteria issues at times. We have some algae blooms at times, you know, in the shallows, but again, nothing that wouldn't happen in any other kind of small shallow lake system.
Tide Pod.
Tide Pod, okay.
Did the Tide Pod dissolve and make the water all soapy?
Okay.
Or did it dissolve and leave the water totally clear?
I'm thinking actually, no, I mean, if I shook it, I'm sure I could get a little soap out of it, but I bet when you hand it to me, it's gonna be clear. That's my guess. Oh, Dripps, I'm terrible at this. Yeah, I totally translucent. I can see right through it. Wrong again.
This is a dog bone.
A dog bone?
Did it make the water all nasty?
Or?
Or did it stay perfectly clear?
I'm kind of guessing nasty by the way you set me up for this one. Maybe you're throwing me a softball on this one, or maybe it's all clear and it stinks to high heaven. I don't know, we'll see. Oh yeah. All right, let's see. Do you want to get a close up of that one? I can see it in there. That is looking pretty nasty. Do we dare open it? You ready for the stench? I don't know. The viewers aren't gonna be able to capture this in full force. I'll show this to my wife. She'll never let me come home. Oh yeah. Woo! That's ripe. That is one ripe dog bone. We're working hard in terms of trying to always improve the overall lake quality. You'll see moving forward over the next year or so, we will probably do some dredging in an effort to address some of the upper arms here and the upper parts of the lake to deepen them a little bit and get a little more circulation. I think those have been the two areas within the lake where, because it's so shallow, you got warm water with good sunlight, and then the nutrients coming in from the two feeder streams that we've had. At times, during the season, you can get some algae blooms. But if you walk around the lake and take a good look around some of the areas, I mean, there's an abundance of fish in there. There is a full functional ecosystem that is active there. It is nowhere from a dead lake that I think sometimes some people try to make it seem like it is. Where are we headed? I don't know. It'd be great somewhere down the road to get back to, I don't know, boating or kayaking or something, but I'm not sure that's going to be any time in the immediate future. But we always love folks to come and enjoy our lake, and we're working hard to try to maintain the ecosystem and maintain the water quality.